Picture this. You need crucial legal info about a piece of property, maybe a civil lawsuit, or an estate right here in Newcastle County. Now, imagine getting all of that information with just a few clicks, right from your own computer. And get this, completely free of charge. Welcome to this explainer. Today we're going to unlock the Delaware public record system and empower you to find exactly what you need without spending a single dime.
Look, if you've ever tried digging up public records online, you absolutely know the frustration. You type a name into a search engine, you find a really promising link, and then bam, just as you're about to see the record, you hit a paywall. It's the worst, right? Third-party data brokers just love charging you for info that is fundamentally yours by right. But stick with me, because by the end of this explainer, even if you're a total beginner, you'll be effortlessly navigating Delaware's official government portals. We're going to bypass those pesky fees and go straight to the authoritative sources. Here's what we are going to systematically cover today. Decoding Delaware court records, searching civil cases online, locating wills and property, navigating the privacy boundary, dealing with fees and limits, and finally, best practices and ethics. Let's get right into it.
All right, Section 1, Decoding Delaware court records.
Okay, let's dive into this. To master the search, you first need to understand the map. See, Delaware's judicial system is decentralized. That basically means records are categorized strictly by the case type. And if you don't know which court handles what, well, you're not going to know where to look. They all have very different jurisdictions. For instance, the Superior Court, that handles felonies and major civil disputes. Then you have the Court of Common Pleas, which manages misdemeanors and civil claims up to $75,000. Got a small claims, eviction, or a traffic ticket? You'll head to the Justice of the Peace records. Meanwhile, the family court takes care of divorce and custody, and the Court of Chancery deals with equity matters and estates, like corporate disputes. Knowing this structure is your foundational tool. It's kind of like a giant sorting system.
Moving on to Section 2, Searching Civil Cases Online. So how do we actually track down this civil data? Enter Delaware Court Connect. This is the primary state-sponsored portal that aggregates civil cases from the Superior Court, Court of Common Pleas, and Justice of the Peace Court. And here is your exact procedural flow. First up, access the free Court Connect portal right through the Delaware Court's website. Second, just type in the name of the person or the business you're investigating. Third, apply your search filters, which, by the way, we'll look at in just a second. And finally, review the dockets and judgments. Now, if you're wondering, a docket is simply the official log of everything that's happened in a case, stuff like motion hearings and trial dates. It's super helpful for tracking active lawsuits or verifying if someone has an outstanding civil judgment.
And this brilliantly illustrates where your search filters become absolutely critical. Court Connect gives you two incredibly powerful tools here. The partial last name search lets you just type in the first few letters of a name if you aren't exactly sure of the spelling, and it'll spit out an alphabetical list of matches. But the real game changer is the phonetic search. This uses an algorithm to catch sound-alike misspellings that might have slipped through during court intake. So for example, if you search the name Johnson with the phonetic filter on, you'll actually catch typos like Johnson without the H. It's an absolute lifesaver for finding hidden records. Now, I do need to manage expectations early on here. While Court Connect is fantastic for tracking the timeline of a case and seeing who sued whom, all for free, it does not host the digital image files of the actual court documents. You can totally read a summary of the complaint online, but you cannot just open the actual PDF of the pleading itself through this free portal. To read those full documents, you'll need to take an extra step, which we're going to cover shortly.
Let's shift gears to Section 3, Locating Wills and Property. Let's move on and see how this builds into other types of public records, specifically probate and real estate databases right here in Newcastle County. For estates, your go-to is the Register of Wills. They're an administrative branch of the Court of Chancery, and get this, they maintain records dating all the way back to the 1600s. That's pretty wild. They offer a totally free online index called the Wills Finder, where you can track probate proceedings. Just keep in mind, it only includes people who were legally domiciled in Newcastle County when they passed. Interestingly enough, they also offer safekeeping for living wills for a flat $10 fee, and those are kept strictly confidential until death. Now, while the Chancery Court handles those estates, the property side of things is managed by the Recorder of Deeds. They operate a portal called PaxWorld, and the county also offers a separate free parcel search for basic tax and ownership history.
But a quick heads up, be careful with PaxWorld because it operates on a tiered system. If you use the occasional user portal, yeah, you can search the property index for free, but the very second you want to actually view or download a page of a deed, you are hit with a $1 per page fee. Professional title searchers usually just opt for the subscription portal, which runs a steep $100 a month for unlimited access.
Okay, Section 4, navigating the privacy boundary. Now, what's really interesting about this next topic is that it addresses one of the most common obstacles people face, trying to find criminal or family court records online. Unlike some neighboring states, you just won't find these on Delaware's open internet portals. It's actually a myth that literally all public records should be easily Googleable. Delaware intentionally excludes criminal and family dockets from remote web portals. Why? Well, it's a deliberate privacy mandate. They do this to protect highly sensitive data involving minors and domestic disputes, and to safeguard the rights of individuals whose criminal records might actually be eligible for statutory sealing or expungement.
But don't worry, you aren't entirely out of luck here. There are free, actionable alternatives available. For criminal and custody status information, you can use Delaware Vine. That's a free portal that tracks incarcerated individuals and protective orders. You can also use the DLJIS Wanted Persons Search to freely verify active arrest warrants statewide. As for family court records, you can't just browse those online. You actually have to call their records department at 302-255-0241, submit a request form proving your legal relationship to the case, and set up an in-person appointment to view the files.
Moving right along to Section 5, dealing with fees and limits. So the crucial point is, what happens when you need the full, actual text of a civil complaint, or maybe a non-confidential criminal docket that just isn't available online? Well, you head in person to the Leonard L. Williams Justice Center in Wilmington. Walking right in and viewing the dockets on their public computer terminals is completely free. However, if you want to print or copy anything to take home, statutory clerk fees apply. It's 50 cents for a standard page. If you need a document officially certified for legal use, you're looking at an $11 flat fee plus that 50 cents per page. And exemplifications, which carry an even higher level of authentication, those start at a $23 fee. Now, you might also stumble across third-party e-filing systems like File and Serve Express. While creating an account with them is technically free and it does let you view some dockets remotely, they operate heavily on a fee-for-service model, meaning if you want to actually download document texts or set up case alerts, you're going to be charged significant service fees. Visiting the courthouse in person really remains the most reliable, cost-effective method for getting your hands on actual documents. And that brings us to Section 6, Best Practices and Ethics. Now that you've got this powerful toolkit at your disposal, we need to pivot for a second and talk about how you actually handle the data you're collecting. Here are some best practices you should always follow. First up, validate your data. Don't just rely on a single search. Cross-reference Court Connect with those free courthouse terminals to make sure you have the whole picture. Second, keep ethics in mind. Public records are meant to foster transparency, not to be misused in ways that could negatively affect a person's legal standing. Third, understand that online portals have system delays. A motion filed today might not even appear online until tomorrow. And finally, the very moment you find a relevant case, write down that case number. It is literally the master key you're going to need to request the physical file later. Before we wrap up, please keep in mind that this explainer provides general guidance for navigating public systems, but it is definitely not legal advice. Website interfaces, courthouse procedures, and fee structures can and do change over time. So always check the official Newcastle County and Delaware courts websites for the most current information, and definitely consult with a qualified legal advisor if you're dealing with specific, sensitive legal issues. I know navigating these systems can feel a little daunting at first, but remember this fundamental truth. These records belong to you. The public right to inspect and replicate judicial records is a true cornerstone of the Delaware Freedom of Information Act. It's designed to foster absolute transparency in our justice system. By learning to use these free portals, you are actively exercising a vital civic right. So, you are now fully equipped to bypass those annoying paywalls, navigate the varying court jurisdictions, and track down the exact civil, property, and probate records you need across Newcastle County. The only question left is, what crucial information will you uncover with your new Public Records Toolkit? Get out there and start searching.